If you're watching this, it's not a coincidence, it's a confirmation. You just broke the quantum loop that kept your reality stuck on repeat. This isn't just a feeling you've had. It's not a vague spiritual hunch. It is a measurable event in the physics of consciousness, a phenomenon we call an observer loop collapse. This is science, not metaphor. And the fact that this message has found you is the final piece of evidence that the event has already happened. In the next 50 minutes, I'm going to give you the operational manual for the new reality you just initiated. I will show you the undeniable proof of the collapse that is already appearing in your life, explain the precise mechanics of what you did unconsciously to trigger it, and give you the new set of rules for navigating a universe that no longer has to repeat itself. This entire framework is built on the proven, Nobel Prize-winning science of the observer effect, the foundational principle of quantum mechanics that proves the universe exists in a state of infinite possibility, a wave of potential, until an observer, you, looks at it. The moment your attention lands upon it, that wave of infinite choice collapses into a single, concrete particle of experience. Your attention, your observation, literally commands reality to take a specific form. We are simply taking this established scientific fact to its logical and utterly life-altering conclusion. You know the feeling. That subtle, maddening sense of déjà vu that haunts your days. The exhaustion of running in place, pushing a boulder up a hill only to wake up and find it at the bottom again. You change jobs, but the boss has the same personality. You end a relationship, but the next partner triggers the same old wounds. You try a new financial strategy, but the bank account ends up in the exact same place. That cycle was not a personal failure. It was not a flaw in your character or a lack of effort. It was a symptom of a physical law operating perfectly. It was the observer loop, and the deep frustration you felt was the friction of your soul trying to break free from a reality that was locked in a perfect, repeating echo of itself. The very fact that you can feel that pattern is ending, that something has finally, fundamentally shifted, is the only proof you need that the collapse is complete. If the idea that you've already made a quantum leap resonates deeper than anything you've heard before, hit the like button now. It's an act of acknowledgement for the breakthrough you've achieved. So how does the observer loop work? And how did you manage to break it without even realizing you were doing it? To understand this, we need to leave behind the old models of reality creation and adopt one that is far more accurate and far more powerful. Imagine your reality as a vast, perfectly engineered echo chamber. This chamber isn't made of rock or steel. It's woven from the fabric of the quantum field itself. It is infinitely responsive, instantaneous. It has only one function: to perfectly reflect back any sound made within it. Now, in this metaphor, you are the source of the sound. Your consistent observation, your dominant thoughts, your core beliefs, your emotional state, your focus on what is, this is the sound you perpetually generate. So you look at your bank account, you feel the feeling of not enough, and you broadcast that frequency into the chamber. The quantum field, acting as a perfect wall, instantly echoes back a reality that perfectly matches not enough. You see a reflection of lack. Because the echo is so convincing, so physically real, you believe it's the original sound. You think reality is happening to you, so you react to the echo. You see the lack, and you broadcast even more worry, more focus on the problem, generating an even stronger signal of not enough. This creates a more powerful, more detailed echo of a reality defined by lack. This is the observer loop, a closed feedback system where your observation of reality creates the very reality you are observing, trapping you in a self-reinforcing cycle of your own making. But you did something different. Unconsciously, perhaps just for a moment, you changed the sound. You found a moment of peace in the middle of chaos. You felt a flicker of gratitude for no reason. You simply withdrew your attention from the old, tired story. You stopped feeding the echo. And in that moment of silence, the entire chamber collapsed. The walls dissolved. By the end of this, you will no longer be wondering if things are changing. You will be a conscious architect of the change you've already started. So how does the observer loop work? And more importantly, how did you break it without realizing? To understand that, we have to go to the foundation of all reality. We have to go into the strange, almost unbelievable world of quantum physics. And it all begins with an experiment so profound, it should be taught to every child before they learn to read. It's called the double-slit experiment. The setup is simple. Scientists fire tiny particles of light, photons, at a screen. In between the particle gun and the final screen, there is a barrier with two vertical slits in it. If the particles were like tiny marbles, you would expect to see two distinct lines on the back screen, corresponding to the particles that made it through one slit or the other. Simple enough. But that's not what happens. When no one is looking, when no detector is placed at the slits to see which one a particle goes through, something impossible occurs. The photons don't act like particles at all. They act like a wave. They seem to pass through both slits simultaneously, interfering with themselves on the other side. On the final screen, you don't get two lines. You get an interference pattern, a series of multiple lines showing where the peaks and troughs of the wave reinforced or canceled each other out. This is the quantum field in its natural state, a boundless ocean of pure potential. The particle isn't in any one place. It is everywhere it could possibly be, all at once. But then, everything changes with a single glance. The moment scientists place a detector at the slits to observe which one the photon goes through, the magic vanishes. The wave of potential collapses. The photon stops being a wave of every possibility and becomes a single solid particle of one reality. It goes through one slit or the other, just like a marble, and creates a simple two-line pattern on the back screen. Let that sink in. The very act of observing it forced the universe to make a choice. The observer didn't just see reality. The observer created it from a field of infinite options. This isn't theory. This isn't spiritual philosophy. This is the bedrock of physics, proven again and again for nearly a century. Your attention is not a passive spotlight. It is an active, creative force that commands potential to become manifest. Now let's scale this up from a single particle in a lab to the totality of your life. This is the observer loop explained simple. Your consistent attention acts like a cosmic save button, locking in the same reality, moment after moment. Every morning you wake up, you are the scientist in the lab. You look at your bank account, and with that glance you command the wave of financial potential to collapse into the same number it was yesterday. You look at your relationships, and your observation of how they are solidifies that reality for another day. You look at your body in the mirror, and your focused attention on its current state tells the quantum field, make more of this. You are running the double-slit experiment on your life, millions of times a day, and you keep collapsing the wave into the same particle. This is the physics of the reality echo chamber. Your consistent habitual observation of what is the sound you are constantly making. It is the story you are telling the universe about yourself. The quantum field, the very structure of the echo chamber, is a perfect instantaneous mirror. It doesn't argue. It doesn't judge. It simply echoes back a perfect reflection of the sound you make. So if the sound is, "This is my life, this is my struggle, this is how things are," the chamber echoes back a reality that perfectly matches that sound. It's not a punishment. It's just physics. And this illuminates why all the old methods of change were so exhausting, and so often, why they failed. You've been trying to change your life from inside the echo chamber. You stood in the center of a room echoing lack, and tried to shout the affirmation, "I am abundant." But the overwhelming, pre-existing echo of your own observation drowned it out. You tried to visualize a new future, but you did so while simultaneously observing the present you wanted to escape. Your observation of the problem was always louder than your desire for the solution. You were trying to paint a new masterpiece while staring intently at the old, faded painting, using it as your only reference. You were focusing on the absence of what you wanted, and in doing so, you were powerfully creating more absence. Every ounce of effort you used to push against your current reality was simply another act of observing it, making the echo louder, the walls of the chamber thicker. You were reinforcing the prison with the very act of trying to escape it. Think back to a pattern in your life that felt like a recurring echo, the same scene with different characters. Can you feel the texture of that old loop now from the outside? You were not failing. You were succeeding perfectly at demonstrating the laws of quantum creation. You just had the detector pointed at the reality you wished to leave behind. So the key was never to scream a new word louder inside the chamber. The key was never to fight the echo. The key was to do something so subtle, so quiet, that it barely registered as an action at all. It was a shift in the quality of your awareness itself, a change in the fundamental position of the observer. This is the preview of the great revelation. Breaking the loop is not an act of doing, it is an act of being. And the evidence is clear that you have already, perhaps accidentally, achieved this profound shift. You have changed the nature of your observation, and in doing so, you have begun to collapse the very walls of the chamber itself. And here is the central, impossible truth of your breakthrough, the one you must understand before we can move forward. You didn't do anything to break the loop. Let that sink in. All the effort, the struggle, the fighting against your circumstances, that wasn't what broke the cycle. You have been pushing against a door that was never locked. The loop didn't break because you applied a new force. The loop broke because you changed. It happened in a moment you probably didn't even notice. A moment you dismissed as insignificant. It might have been a flicker of genuine peace in the middle of a chaotic day. A sudden, inexplicable loss of interest in a drama that used to consume you. A quiet morning where for just a few seconds you felt a sense of presence so complete that you forgot to worry about the future or regret the past. That wasn't a side effect of your efforts. That was the cause of the collapse. That subtle internal shift in your state of being was a change in your fundamental frequency. You momentarily stopped being the person who was stuck. In that instant, you stopped broadcasting the signal of stuckness to the quantum field, and the field, which has no choice but to obey, had to stop echoing a stuck reality back to you. The entire feedback system shattered, not with a bang, but with a quiet hum of a new frequency. This changes everything you thought you knew about creating your life. It means that freedom isn't a struggle. It's a surrender. It's a letting go of the old observation. It means the smallest, most authentic internal shift has more power to move worlds than the biggest, most forceful external action. It means you broke out of a quantum prison by accident, simply by becoming a fraction more conscious, a shade more present than you were the day before. You didn't fight your way out. You simply remembered you were never truly in. The old paradigm was about fighting the echo, shouting new words into the chamber, hoping they would eventually overpower the old reverberations. The new paradigm, the one you have now entered, is not about adding new beliefs or forcing new thoughts. It is about the radical act of withdrawing your observation from the reality you no longer choose. That old reality echo, your repeating financial situation, your recurring relationship patterns, your persistent health issues, it's a phantom. It has no energy of its own. It requires your constant focused attention to exist. It is a ghost fed by your belief in it. When you look away, when you withdraw the energy of your observation, it begins to starve. It thins. It dissolves back into the field of pure potential from which it came. So what happens? When you break the observer loop, the echo chamber dissolves, and for the first time you hear silence, the sound of pure potential. The roar of the old story fades, leaving a vast creative emptiness. And in that silence, a new sound, a new broadcast, can finally be heard. Yours. What if breaking the loop wasn't an act of force, but simply an act of noticing something new for the very first time? Let that possibility recalibrate your entire past. Every past failure wasn't a failure. It was just a very consistent observation. This leads us to the final, most profound transformation, a change in your very identity. For so long you have felt like a prisoner inside the reality echo chamber, a victim of its relentless acoustics. But that was the illusion required to keep the loop intact. You are not a prisoner in the echo chamber. You are the architect of its walls. You were never trapped inside of it. You are it. The shape of your consciousness, the frequency of your emotional state, defines the very structure that reflects your life back to you. You are not fighting reality. You are the source of its constant, unwavering reflection. The world is not happening to you. The world is a perfect, instantaneous mirror of the observational frequency that you are. There is no separation. There is no delay. Your feeling state is the broadcast. Your state of being is the blueprint. The person you are being, moment to moment, is the sound that sculpts the chamber. And you, in one quiet, unnoticed moment, changed the note. and the entire cathedral of your old reality began to crumble. The observer loop collapse isn't a silent event. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. When a reality structure that has been sustained by your constant observation for years, even decades, finally shatters, it sends shockwaves through your entire phenomenal world. It leaves fingerprints. It leaves quantum signatures all over your daily life. These are not the signs you've been taught to look for. They are not sudden windfalls of cash or dramatic declarations of love. Those are outcomes that happen within a stable reality. What you're experiencing is the evidence of the old reality's structural failure. I'm going to give you 3 of the most profound and counterintuitive signs that you are in the immediate aftermath of a collapse. These are the aftershocks. As I describe them, your job is not to analyze. Your job is to recognize, to feel that deep internal nod of confirmation. The first sign is the fading of the past. Think about a memory that used to hold a powerful emotional charge, a betrayal, a deep embarrassment, a heartbreaking loss. For years, just thinking about it would produce a visceral physiological response. Your stomach would clench, your chest would tighten. The echo of that moment was perfectly preserved. Now, try to access it. You might find that you still remember the facts of the event, but the emotional sting is gone. It's like looking at a photograph that has been left out in the sun for too long. The colors are bleached out, the edges are blurred. You can see the image, but you can no longer feel the heat of the moment it was captured. People who used to be major antagonists in your life story now feel like minor characters from a book you read long ago. Old triggers fail to fire. This is not memory loss. It's far more significant. The past you are trying to access was the point of origin for a timeline that no longer exists. Because you have shifted your observational frequency, you are no longer quantumly entangled with that specific past. You are trying to draw an emotional charge from a circuit that has been disconnected. That past is no longer your cause, so its effect on you is neutralized. You are not healing the past. You are obsoleting it. You have branched into a new stream of time where that old story is no longer the source code for your present moment. The second signature is the rise of benevolent chaos. From the outside, it might look like your life is suddenly becoming more unstable. Plans fall through at the last minute. Technology begins to glitch in strange, specific ways around you. Miscommunications abound. Long-standing structures in your life, a job, a friendship, a routine, suddenly feel shaky, unpredictable. The old consciousness, the one trapped in the loop, would interpret this as a sign that things are going wrong. It would label it as bad luck, Mercury in retrograde, or evidence that the universe is against you. But you are no longer the old consciousness. You must understand this. The observer loop created a reality that was rigid, predictable, and solid. It was a prison, yes, but a very stable one. The walls were always in the same place. The routine was dependable. When that structure collapses, what replaces it, initially, is not a new, solid structure. It is pure, unformed potential. The chaos you are experiencing is the sound of the old prison walls crumbling to dust. The disruptions are making space. The canceled plan is the universe clearing a path for an opportunity you couldn't have conceived of. The technological glitch is the electromagnetic field around you recalibrating to your new, higher frequency. The instability is the rigid, frozen ground of your old reality breaking apart to become fertile soil. This is not random chaos. It is benevolent chaos. It is the holy and necessary demolition phase that must occur before new construction can begin. You are seeing a surge in synchronicity for the same reason. The walls are down, and the messages can finally get through. The numbers, the songs, the overheard conversations, they are not random. They are the first blueprints arriving for your new reality. The third and most intimate sign is the feeling of peaceful alienation. You look at your life, and it feels like you're watching a movie about someone else. You go to the job you've had for years and you feel a strange, calm detachment, as if you were a visitor. You interact with friends and family and you love them, but there's a part of you that feels like an anthropologist, observing tribal customs you no longer fully participate in. You might even look in the mirror and feel a subtle sense of non-recognition. This is not depression. Depression is a heavy, gray blanket of no feeling. This is a light, clear, peaceful sense of detachment. It is the feeling of no longer being fully docked with your old identity. Your consciousness, your true self, has already made the leap. It has vacated the old observer post. What you are experiencing is the lag time as your physical, emotional, and mental bodies catch up. You feel like an alien in your own life because the you who built that life is gone. That version of you dissolved with the loop. You are an architect standing in the empty plot of land where your old house used to be. You're not sad it's gone. You're just in that quiet, potent moment before you begin to build anew. This peaceful alienation is the ultimate confirmation that you have successfully detached your point of observation from what was and are now free to place it upon what can be. The fading past, benevolent chaos, peaceful alienation. These are not problems to be solved. They are progress markers. They are the quantum evidence, proving your internal shift has successfully externalized itself as a collapse of your old reality matrix. You now have the decoder. You have the lens to reinterpret the very events that might have caused you fear and see them for what they are. Receipts from the cosmos, confirming the breakthrough you have achieved. In the comments, share which of these 3 signs you've been experiencing. Let's create a powerful field of validation for everyone here. I want to witness the evidence of your collapse. You understand the physics. You see the evidence in your life. Now let's stop observing the new reality and start being it. If you are in a safe space to do so, I invite you to gently close your eyes. Let your hands rest comfortably in your lap. Let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Take one slow, deep breath in and release it. Let the sounds around you fade into the background. Let the thoughts of your day become distant clouds, passing by without attachment. Bring your awareness to the space your body occupies. Feel the weight of it, the simple fact of your own presence. Now, with your inner senses, I want you to become aware of the old observer loop. Don't try to see it. Try to feel it. Sense it as a kind of static in the air around you, a subtle pressure, a density. For years, this was the container of your reality. It was a heavy cloak, woven from every past observation, every repeated thought, every old assumption about who you are and what is possible. Feel the texture of it, the familiar weight, the hum of its limitations. Don't judge it. Don't fight it. It served its purpose. It kept your reality stable, predictable. Simply acknowledge it. Thank it for its service. And now, watch what happens as you bring your gentle, neutral awareness to it. Notice a shift. A subtle warmth begins to glow from the center of your chest. A light that is not of effort, but of simple being. This is the new frequency of your consciousness, the one that caused the collapse. And as this light expands, it touches the dense walls of the old loop, but it doesn't shatter them. It dissolves them. Feel the static begin to clear. Feel the density begin to evaporate, not with force, but like fog burning off in the morning sun. It isn't a struggle. It is a release. The heavy cloak simply melts away, thread by thread, returning to pure energy. What is left in its place? Silence. An infinite, peaceful, silent space. This is not an empty void. This is the space of pure potential. This is the quantum field before you have commanded it to be anything at all. This is the post-collapse field. Breathe into this silence. Feel the freedom in it, the sheer limitless possibility. There are no echoes here, no old patterns, no momentum from the past. There is only now, a boundless canvas of now. From this space, you do not need to think about what you want to create. Thinking is the old language. The new language is feeling. I want you to call up the emotional signature, the core feeling of the reality you are now choosing to architect. Don't see the money. Feel the frequency of freedom. Don't see the perfect relationship. Feel the resonance of wholeness. Don't see the healthy body. Feel the vibrancy of pure life force. Let that feeling begin as a seed in your heart. Let it build. Let it become a warmth, a hum, a coherent frequency that emanates from the very core of your being. This feeling is your new broadcast. Feel it expanding outward from your heart, filling your entire body. Now feel it moving beyond your body, radiating out into the silent, infinite space around you. It fills the space effortlessly. It is the first sound in the new silence, the first light in the new space. And here is the final shift. Pay close attention. Realize that you are not a small point broadcasting a signal into a vast field. That is a trick of the old perception. The final remnant of the loop. Let that separation dissolve right now. You are the field. You are not broadcasting into the space. You are the space becoming conscious of a new frequency. The feeling is not just in you. The feeling is you. The freedom is you. The wholeness is you. The vibrancy is you. Dissolve the separation. There is no longer a you and a reality. There is only the feeling reality you are choosing to be. Stay in this state of unity for a moment. This is your true nature, an architect of worlds, made of the very substance you command. Now, very gently, begin to bring your awareness back. Bring this frequency with you. It is not something you have to hold on to. It is now what you are. Feel the floor beneath you. Hear the subtle sounds of your environment, but hear them from this new state of being. When you are ready, you can slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. As you return to this moment, what is the one word that defines the frequency of your new reality field? Don't think, just feel. That word is your new anchor. The person who started this video is gone. They dissolved with the loop. You are now a post-loop architect, and these are your primary tools. This isn't just a change in perspective. This is a masterclass on how to use your new quantum consciousness for reality creation. Your only job now is to stabilize and furnish the new reality you've initiated. To do this, you don't need to struggle or force anything. You simply need to use your attention with a new level of precision. Your first tool is the most fundamental. It is the foundation of your new power. We call it the 0-point gaze. For your entire life, you have looked at the world and immediately collapsed it into a story. You look at your bank account, and you don't just see a number. You see a story of struggle, or scarcity, or not enough. You collapse the infinite potential of that number into the echo of your past observations. You look at a relationship and you don't see a person. You see a history of disappointments, a projection of future pain. You look in the mirror and you see every perceived flaw, every past mistake, reinforcing the loop of that identity. The 0-point gaze is the practice of looking at an area of your life and deliberately refusing to collapse it into the old story. It is an act of quantum neutrality. Here is how you practice it. Pick one area of your life that has felt stuck. Your finances, your health, a specific relationship. Now, instead of thinking about it with all its baggage, you are going to simply look at it. If it's your finances, open your banking app, see the number. But this time, your instruction is to see it as pure data, pure unformed potential. Do not allow the story of "this is not enough" or "I am failing" to attach itself to the observation. You look at the number, and you hold your gaze from a place of absolute zero. You see it as a wave of potential, not a particle of problems. This is incredibly powerful because the old reality, the old echo, requires your constant emotional observation to exist. It feeds on your story. When you look at your problem with the 0-point gaze, you are starving it of the very energy it needs to perpetuate itself. You are withdrawing your consciousness from the old creation, allowing it to dissolve back into the quantum field. You're not ignoring the problem. You are observing it from the position of the creator, not the victim. You are seeing the raw material, not the unwanted sculpture. Practice this daily. Gaze upon the old structures of your life from this place of neutrality, and watch as they lose their power. Watch as they become transparent, ready to be reformed. Your second tool is for navigation. It's your new guidance system. We call it frequency anchoring. In the last exercise, you identified a single word that defined the frequency of your new reality. Field. A word like abundance or freedom or peace. That word is not an affirmation. It is a vibrational signature. It is a tuning fork for your new timeline. From now on, you will use it to make decisions. The old you made choices based on logic, on fear, on past experience, on what you should do. The post-loop architect makes choices based on resonance. Here is the practice. When faced with any choice, from what to eat for lunch to whether to take a new job, you will hold both options in your mind separately. For option A, feel into it. Does it feel closer to the frequency of your anchor word, or further away? Does it expand the feeling of freedom, Does it resonate with peace? Now do the same for option B. Your mind will scream with logic, with pros and cons. Ignore it. Your only metric for truth now is resonance. The choice that feels more aligned with the frequency of your word is a doorway into a higher probability of your new reality. The choice that feels dissonant is a doorway back toward the old loop. This is your new compass. It never fails. It operates at the level of the quantum field, bypassing the static of the analytical mind. You are no longer trying to figure your way to a new reality. You are feeling your way there. Your emotional state is the broadcast, and this anchor word keeps your broadcast clear, coherent, and locked onto the timeline you desire. Your third tool is the most creative. It is where you move from a neutral observer to an active reality sculptor. We call this reality scripting from the future. This is not simple journaling or writing down your goals. This is a highly specific quantum technique designed to collapse a desired future timeline into your present moment by observing it as a completed memory. Tonight, before you sleep, you will write in a journal. But you will not be writing as your current self. You will be writing as your future self, 5 years from now, living a life that is the absolute embodiment of your anchor frequency. And that future self is going to write a journal entry about today. You will write something like this. I remember that day so clearly, 5 years ago. The day I watched that video and everything clicked. It was the first day I used the 0-point gaze on my finances, and I felt this strange sense of calm instead of panic. I remember making a choice about dinner using my anchor word, flow, and it led to the most unexpected, wonderful conversation. It's amazing to look back from here and see that was the day the new timeline truly began to crystallize. Everything I have now started with the simple, practical tools I began to use on that specific day. Do you see the power in this? You are not hoping for a future. You are creating a memory of the present moment from the perspective of a successful future. You are quantumly entangling your present observation with a future probability, commanding the field to organize itself around that trajectory. You are scripting your reality by creating the evidence of its success in advance. This practice, done consistently, makes the manifestation of your desired reality not just a possibility, but a retrospective inevitability. The 0-point gaze dissolves the old. Frequency anchoring navigates the new. Reality scripting from the future collapses the destination into the now. This is your new framework. A life of selective observation. Your only work is to consciously withdraw your attention from the stories that no longer serve you, and to place your gentle, feeling-based attention on the reality you are choosing to architect. What is the single old observation, the one story about yourself you've been repeating, that you will consciously withdraw your attention from, starting now? You now understand the observer loop collapse. You have the signs to prove it, the embodied feeling of it, and the tools to navigate it. You are no longer repeating reality. You are architecting it, but your reality field is not isolated. It is not a bubble. It's a broadcast, a signal of coherence in a sea of static, and that signal is quantumly entangled with every other field it touches. So the question is no longer about you. The question becomes, what happens when your newly stabilized reality, your coherent frequency, begins to interact with someone else's deeply entrenched observer loop? This is the science of quantum entanglement, taken to its most profound conclusion. When your observation becomes coherent and powerful, it doesn't just change your world. It begins to offer a new potential reality, a new possible timeline for everyone you are connected to. You become a force for collective evolution, not through persuasion but through pure resonance. You don't have to convince anyone of anything. Your very being becomes the invitation. This is the next layer of your mastery. Subscribe and turn on all notifications. In our next video, Quantum Entanglement Explained, how your consciousness is linked to everyone's reality. We explore this next layer, and you won't want to miss it. This is where personal reality creation becomes planetary transformation. You broke your loop. You've stepped into your power as an architect. Now, prepare to realize the true scale of your creative influence. The journey has just begun.